Mir hast du heim, bei mir bist du schön in der ganzen Welt. You could say Bella, Bella, even say wunderbar. Each language only helps me show you how swell you are. Bei mir bist du schön, bei mir hast du... Just a minute, Joe, it's almost Shabbos. I've got to get supper on the table and the candles lit before Shabbos. Do you know what they call this? Liquid gold. Now, I'm not a person to brag, but you should taste my chicken soup and you would know what I mean. And my Canadian, my matzo balls, nobody's matzo balls float like Bella's matzo. My recipe? No recipe. I cook by feel. My daughter, my Neshla, she makes a good chicken soup too. Maybe not as good as mine, but still good. So, I can see you're dying to know. So I'll tell you. It's not really a secret. You should take a nice kosher chicken. You put it in the pot with some water, not too much. In the pot you should throw some carrots, some celery, a parsnip or two, a nice onion, garlic, of course, a little salt, a little pepper, and don't forget the dill. And then you wait. A good chicken soup should never cook for less than 3 hours. And that's it. Oh, my cooker. My name is Bella Tabak, Indiana. I was born in Drushka, Russia in 1904. The exact date, God only knows. You see, my mother, she died when I was born, and my father a short time later of a broken heart, they say. And so, my sister Rose and I went to live with my aunt and my uncle and my cousins. But to me, they were my mama, my papa, my sisters and brothers. It wasn't until I was older that I learned the truth. There were 4 children, 2 girls and 2 boys. But the little one, Hannah, oh, such mischief she made. One day, they're in the kitchen baking challah for Shabbos. And so she takes from her apron pocket a little flour. And she throws it at me right in my face. And so, of course, I take some flour, I throw it at her. You stop it, you 2 monkeys, you! She tried to act strict, but I could see on the side of her mouth a little smile. A heart of gold my Aunt Gertie had. So we lived in a little Jewish village, a shtetl. We didn't have much, but it was enough. This was the time of the pogroms, and I don't like to talk about these things, but if you are to understand me, then you need to know what happened. I remember like it was yesterday. Rose, Bella, get under the bed now! Open up, Jews! Quickly, we followed our Uncle Samuel's orders and we hid under the bed for 2 hours until the Cossacks had left the village. Never was I so frightened. Silently I prayed that they would not find us. I had heard what they did to young Jewish women. It was a miracle that they did not burn our house or kill us like so many of our neighbors. And so we left. We had no choice. We were in a covered wagon with a horse pulling. With us, we took some water, a little food, and a few other things, and then we ran, but we could not escape the Cossacks. My uncle, my dear, dear uncle, the only papa I ever knew, was shot and killed by the Cossacks. Papa! Oh! 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 And I was shot too, in my leg. I did not know even where we were or how they got me to a hospital. I was in so much pain. In the hospital, I lay for 9 months. And they almost had to take out the leg because of the infection. You see, there was no antibiotics back then, but thanks God, I got well. I still have a scar, so I can never forget. I had another sister too, Molly, who was 10 years older than me, and 2 brothers. They never lived with us in Russia, but they lived with other family, and somehow they managed to get to America. And after I got out of the hospital, Rose and I sent a telegram to Molly and her husband, Izzy, to let them know that we were okay. As soon as Molly, she gets the telegram, she says to her husband, "Izzy, let's send for the kids." And so Rose and I went first class on a ship to America. Of course, I was so sad to say goodbye to my family in Russia, especially Hannah, not knowing if I would ever see them ever again. But to go to America was like a dream. The year was 1920, and I was 17 years old. Oh, I had never seen the ocean before, and I loved it. Oh, my sister Rose, she was sick the whole trip, but me, I stood on the deck and I breathed in the salt air and I danced. Come, Rose, come dance with me. I can't, I'm too sick. There was a band, and I danced most of the nights away. When we got to Ellis Island, there were so many people from all over the world. Finally, it was our turn. Next! Where are your papers? These are not the right papers. Please, what was he saying? Milka dajin mein Schwester, Molly in Detroit. Lady, I don't understand your Jew language. These are not the right papers. Go to the re-embark line. Next! Milka dajin mein Schwester, Molly in Detroit. I cannot understand his words, but the meaning was very clear. They were sending us back to Europe, to a place I never wanted to see ever again. Oh, what are we going to do, Rose? I'm so upset. We are going back. On the benches of Ellis Island, we sat for 2 days with our 2 small valises, waiting for the ship to take us back to Europe. Rose had given up all hope. I tried, but I could not console her. Cyrus! Always follows us everywhere we go. Now we'll never get back to America. We're stuck in that hell forever. We should have died in the pogroms. Don't say that, Rose. It will be all right. You'll see. Molly and Izzy will stand for us again, I promise you. No, it won't be all right. It is never good for us. Standing on the deck, looking out at the ocean that I was so happy to see just 2 days ago. I am not so certain it will ever be all right ever again. Of course, it's not like the first class like before. This time we're on the bottom of the ship with the sickness and the rats and the sadness. There are others like us with the sad eyes, no hope. Some don't speak at all, they just stare. Where are we to go when we get to the port in Poland? We can't go back to Russia, to the pogroms. And so we go to some family we have in Austria. And again, we send a telegram to Molly and Izzy and we wait. It takes a few months, but we do come back with the right papers. And this time, we stay. We go to see our brother, Avram, in New Jersey. Now, Avram knew that most of all, he wanted to be a true American.
And so, I changed my name from Avram Topic to Abe Goldberg.
He was a funny man. After staying with our brother for a short time, we take a train to Detroit. And that is where our life in America begins. As soon as Molly sees us get off the train, she takes us both in her arms and she squeezes us so tight I can hardly breathe. Oh, mein Schwesters, mein Mamalas! We live with Molly and Izzy and their 2 children, Gertrude and Paul, on 635 East Bethune Street. It is a small, cozy home, nothing fancy. But to me, it is paradise. There are no Cossacks in the I want so much to fit in. So first, I have to learn the language. My name is Ben. When is your name? How is you? I is good. The weather was good. When is the toilet? It wasn't easy. For the first year I'm in Detroit, I go to a school to learn English, and I work very, very hard. But even though I say I'm not going to speak any Yiddish, only English, I slip a little, I speak some Yiddish at home. When I begin to dream in English, that is when I know I'm becoming a true American. There was a young man named Joseph, Indiana. Our neighbors, the Altmans, introduced us.
So, you're Bella. I've heard a lot of good things about you, but I never knew you were such a beauty.
So handsome. A little short, but that didn't matter, so was I. It's very nice to meet you.
So, when did you come to America?
I came with my sister Rose just 3 months ago on the SS Lapland.
You were on the Lapland? Oh, I cannot believe it. I came myself on the Lapland just 9 months ago. We must be beshared.
I don't know if it's beshared, but I will go with you for a coffee. And we did. We would go walking in the evenings, sometimes for coffee. We would speak of our families and of our dreams. I learned that Joseph had lived with his mother and father and his brothers and sisters in Poland. He was the baby of 10 children. And they were all of the musicians, his family, and a few of his brothers and sisters played in the best orchestras in Poland. But Joseph, he never wanted to play music, and he would hide in the closet when his father would come with the violin demanding he play. No, Joseph wanted to be a photographer. And so, in Poland, he learned photography. After 3 months, Joe comes to me and he says,
Bella, you are the woman I love and I want. So I am asking you to marry me.
Joe, it's only been a few short months. It's not enough time to know.
It is enough time for me. I know what I want and you are what I want.
I'll tell you what I think. We will keep seeing each other for 5 years. And at the end of the 5 years, if we still want to be together, and we know in our hearts that it is for shared, I will marry you. Now, Joseph was always used to getting his way, but I guess I was worth it because he waited for me. And after 5 years, we were married in a little synagogue in Detroit, and I became Mrs. Bella, Indiana. Not such a Jewish name you're thinking of. A long, long time ago, in the early 1800s, one of Joe's great-uncles went to apply for a visa for travel. And when the official looked at this great-uncle of Joe's, he was so dark. He looked like an Indian, like he was from India. And so, they gave him the name on his visa, Indiana. And that's how we got our name. A great story, yes? Oh, this kuku smells so delicious. I wish that I could give to each of you a piece. But I don't have enough. We made a home on Mack Avenue on the east side of Detroit. Joe had opened a little studio, and he taught me to photograph. Do you mind if I take your picture? Please, come, everybody together. The little lady right there, can you put your hand in place? Yes, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, then I'm going to say going to, with a big smile, okay? You're going to say cheese. You ready? 1, 2, 3, cheese! Oh, beautiful! I may not be the best photographer in the whole world, but people would come to the studio and they would say that they wanted the smiley lady photographer. That's me. We had 3 beautiful children. My eldest, Paul, was born in January of 1930. I never felt such love as the first time I held my baby in my arms. My only daughter, Nessie, Neshla, I call her, was born 2 years later on February the 12th. Mama, what's going on? I just got my birth certificate in the mail because I needed it for the passport for the trip that Jerry and I are taking to Mexico. And this is how I find out I was really born on February the 13th? But Mother dear, why didn't you tell me the truth? Now people know me to be a very honest person, but sometimes I think it's okay to tell a little white lie. Because sweetheart, I thought that if you knew that you was born on Friday the 13th, you would think always bad things would happen to you. But I'm not even superstitious. For my daughter, my sweet, sweet angel, I wanted only the best. A strict mother I wasn't, but I knew that I needed to teach her all the things that I learned in my life. To be happy, to be healthy, to have a good life. A man is like a piece of glass. It can always be wiped clean. But a woman is like a piece of fine silk. Once it is soiled, it will always be stained. On health, I told her, every day you should take a glass of boiling hot water. In the water, you should drop 3 prunes and a little squeezed lemon. And that's all you need. My son-in-law Jerry, who always makes me laugh, would say, "You don't even have to drink it, just looking at it makes you go." Mama dear, you know what my first memory is? I'm about, 3, and I'm in my crib, and I just woken up from a nap, and I'm crying for you. Mama! Mama! And in you come, and I can see this so clearly, with a little pink dress and a cap to match that you had just made for me. Do you remember that dress? You know, you always had a way of making things feel better. I think I'm a natural mother. It comes easy for me. The hard part is that I have to work in the studio, and I want to be home with my children. Joe is always off somewhere. Joe, where are you going now? I told the kids I'd be home at 3 o'clock. I was going to make a roast, but I don't have time. Bella, I have things to do, and that's it. I'll try to be home by supper, but keep a plate hot for me. Don't wait. And that's how it is. So what can I do? So I hire a wonderful woman, Irene, to take care of the children when I'm working. Not what I want, but it has to be. A little salt. My baby, my Leonard, was born in 1938. He came as a little surprise. But never would I say this. He was a wonderful, wonderful surprise. And nobody was more excited than his big sister, Neshla, who was 7 years old when he was born. She would brag to her friends, Meet my little baby doll. And you have to be very, very careful with his head. You can't like push on it or anything. and you can only give him things that he can't swallow. Except food, of course. And only me and my mama can feed him. In Detroit, my children went to a school that was not very welcoming to Jews. Neshi and Paul were the only Jews in the whole school. I never understood why Joe brought us to this neighborhood, took us away from our friends and our family to this neighborhood in East Detroit. What was he always running away from? I don't know. One day, Neshi comes home from school in tears. It was the day after Rosh Hashanah. And when she walked into the classroom, the teacher says to her, "And where were you yesterday?" It was Rosh Hashanah, a Jewish holiday. A Jewish what? She was so ashamed as she stood in front of the classroom with all the children laughing at her. My heart broke for her. Not what I wanted for my children. But in the 5th grade, Neshi won the spelling bee. Philanthropist. P-H-I-L-A-N-T-H-R-O-P-I-S-T. Philanthropist. The best speller in the whole 5th grade. I was so proud. They gave to her a brand new dictionary with her name in gold on the front. I don't think the children were laughing at her that day. She treasured that dictionary like it was made of gold, and she carried it everywhere with her, even to Horseshoe Lake in the summertime. Oh, such fun we had. Joe and his cousins had built little cottages on the lake, and ours we called the dollhouse. A funny story I have to tell you. One day, Joe takes from my drawers my garter belts. Now, we were in our bathing suits, but not the bathing suits of today. They covered so much of the body. So he takes the garter belts and he puts them on his own legs, and he's dancing around and singing like a girl. I'm in the mood for love because you're near me. Joe, you give those back to me or there will be tsuris. Come and get them, my mamala. Actually, I think they look better on me. Oh, my Joseph. Those were the fun times. Bella, ich bin gegangen to California, see what I see, and then after mir das macht, maybe we'll move. Joe, what are you talking about? Detroit is our home with our friends and our family. You're leaving again with me alone with the kids in the studio to manage. This is Meshuggah. Enough, Bella. I know what's right to do. And so he left for California to see what he could see. It rained the whole 3 days he was there. So from California to Miami Beach. It didn't rain. Bella, pack our bags. We're moving to Miami Beach, to a home without you. Oh, Miami Beach is paradise. Wait until you see what I found for us. No discussion. The decision was made. I packed up the house, and with a small trailer behind our little car and all of our other things packed in everywhere there's a little bit of space, we drive, the 5 of us, from Detroit to Miami Beach. Oi gewalt. As we're packing up the car, I see Joe take Neshi's dictionary to bring back to the house. Joe, what are you doing? That's Neshi's favorite thing, what she's most proud of. She doesn't need it, and there's no more room in the car. Let it be, Bella. So I let it be. To start the fight then, when we are to travel in a small car for 2 days, I couldn't do. But I have always felt guilt about this. And when Neshi realized her dictionary was missing, she cried for hours. I would have held it in my lap the whole trip. After what seemed like a year, we make it to Miami Beach. We drive onto a causeway leading to Palm Island. Wow! Dad, this is beautiful. And that's what I told you, paradise. We drive into the driveway of a very small house. Actually, it was on the bottom a garage, and upstairs a small apartment. As I'm walking into this this tiny house, I was thinking to myself, but Joe, you told me there would be room for all of us. There's just one small bedroom here, and a kitchen that only one person can fit in with only one burner to cook. But I don't say a word.
And look at the view! And so begins our life in Miami Beach with a view. Across the street. The boys sleep on the pull-out couch in the living room and Neshi on the cot in the hallway. And after just 1 month we're here, what does Joe do? He invites from the synagogue 20 people to our little home. And I cook for days and days on that one burner to prepare the meal. I cannot tell you how exhausting this is. But I make the best of it because that's what you do. By the way, you know who was our neighbor? Al Capone. Al Capone, the gangster, had a mansion up the street. We opened our small studio on Washington Avenue, and little by little we built a business from that. And Neshi, barely a teenager she was, learned how to hand color the photographs. Beautiful work, believe me, so talented. She works every day after school and on Saturdays. Joe won't let me pay her, of course. What are you talking, Bella? Pay our child to work with us? We are a family, and you don't pay mishpucha.
But of course I slip her a few dollars whenever I can. I love to cook. All the time. Oh, such pleasure it gives me to make a nice brisket for supper, a noodle kugel, a gefilte fish. Unfortunately, meal times were always the hardest.
Paul, where were you this afternoon? You were supposed to be at the studio at 4 o'clock. What kind of a person does this to his parents? I am sick and tired of your constant rule. I have a wife too, you know, goddammit. Don't you dare use such language in this house. You listen to me. You will follow my orders, and that is what I say you will do.
It's okay, Joe. It's okay. We didn't need the package today. He'll pick it up. He'll bring it tomorrow. Please, can we just have a few minutes of silence? And so it was. Every night, Joe and Paul would yell, and I would try to make peace, try to make things better. Neshla would get stomach aches because of the fighting. So what would I do? Yell too? I bit my tongue. During the war, Joe learned there was a lot of money to be made, taking pictures at the army base in Panama City, Florida. And so once again, we packed up the house and we moved to Panama City. Joe had already found for us a house. The house on Palm Island was a mansion compared to this one. This was nothing but a shack. So filthy, you could see the dirt beneath the floorboards on the ground. And next door there lived a woman who would sit on the porch and spit tobacco all day while her little children would run around half naked. Joe, how could you pick such a place? We could afford more. The children are ashamed when the school bus comes.
They're ashamed. They should feel lucky they have a roof over their head and food on the table every day. They're spoiled. You spoiled them, Bella.
And so on the weekends, I would take the children and we would go to a hotel. This, I did not ask Joe. I would take the money from the tin that I saved and we would go to a nice, clean room. After the war, we moved back to Miami Beach, and I cannot tell you how happy I was to be back. But little by little, news started to come in about the terrible things that happened during the war. Not wanting the children to hear, Joe and I would speak in Yiddish.
Bella, thanks God we came to America. Murder camps Hitler had in Europe. They say millions died, most of them Jews. Joe, what are you saying? This can't be true. Maybe it's a rumor. You know how rumors start. What about Hannah and Maury and all the rest? Mama, what's wrong? What happened? Why are you crying?
Nothing, sweetheart. the children shouldn't have to worry. At 17 years old, Neshi graduated from Miami Beach High School with honors. Imagine that, a girl graduating from high school with honors yet. Oh, I was so proud. More than anything else, Nessie wanted to go to college to study art.
Nonsense! What girl needs to go to college? You will stay working in the studio until you find a nice young Jewish man that I approve of, and then you will get married and have a family of your own. Go to college!
But Dad, all my friends are going.
It doesn't matter what your friends are doing. You listen to me, Neshi. I know what's best for you, and that's what will be.
So while all her other friends went off to colleges, Neshi stayed working in the studio full-time, without pay, for the next 2.5 years. I could see how unhappy she was, and even though I loved to work with her, more than anything else, I wanted her to get an education. But I never got myself, and I wanted her to be happy. Without her father knowing, Neshi applied for a scholarship at the University of Miami's art department. And because of her good grades and her talent, she was given a 4-year scholarship.
I told you already, you will stay working until you marry. She's going, Joe.
He didn't say a word. Neshi was going to college. My children grew up, as children do, and I had grandchildren, 10 grandchildren. You know, it's true what they say about being a grandmother. It's even better than being a mother. And yes, I spoiled them a little. Joe would give them $1, and without him knowing, I would slip in their pockets a 20. We still worked some. Every year at Christmas time, we would hire a Santa Claus. And we would take pictures in the shopping centers of Santa Claus with the little children. So now you know. It was the Jewish Indianers taking the Santa pictures. We had moved to a little house in Coral Gables. And me not being a driver, I often felt lonely. You see, there was nobody around to be friends with, and I need friends. As much as I love my family, a person needs friends of her own. I don't know if it's because of this loneliness or because of the infection I had as a girl, but at the age of 50, I began to have heart failure. It came on one day when I was fasting for Yom Kippur.
Joe, I cannot breathe.
As I lay in the hospital with my husband and my children at my bedside, it was suddenly very clear to me. I knew this inside, that it was up to me to heal myself. Sure, there was medicines, things the doctor said to do, to not to do. But just as I knew as a girl with a bullet in my leg and the infection all through my body, I had the ability to heal myself. And I did. Vacations we didn't take. Sure, to go to a family bar mitzvah, a wedding, that we did. But to go somewhere just for pleasure made no sense to Joe. Except once. Always Joe would say, I want to live, I want to die in my homeland, Israel. And so finally I said to him, Joe, why not go while we live? And one day he said, why not? It just so happened that we were there during the 25th year of Israel's independence, and it was wonderful. There was parades, there was celebrations. Every year at Pesach we say, next year in Jerusalem, and there we were, in Israel. We saw the country, we visited with our cousins, and Joe and I had fun together, like when we were young. This is a trip I will never forget. I am 74 years old, and we moved to a condominium on Miami Beach, right on the ocean. We are on the 5th floor, and I can see all the way up the coast from my balcony. Oh, I just love to stand here and breathe in the ocean air. Funny, I never learned to swim. My granddaughter, my Vicki, she tries to teach me in the pool, and I learned to float, but I think I'm too old to swim. But every day, I go down to the shore, and I pick up shells, and I splash myself in the ocean. Oh, it's a machaya! But I never swim. Oh well. But the best thing about living on Miami Beach is that I have friends. So many friends. All the time to talk to laugh with. We play cards. I suppose by now you realize it's not such an easy thing to live with my Joseph. Do I love him? Of course. Would I choose to marry him again, knowing what I know now? I'm not so sure. Living here, I see the way other husbands treat their wives, and I never knew it could be like that. I am downstairs in the lobby playing canasta with my friends. Blutesticker von Wasser! Bella, it's time to go. We have somewhere we need to go. I'm playing cards right now, Joe. I'll be up soon. You listen to me, Bella. I said it's time to go. I'll meet you in the car. I am so embarrassed. I feel my face go red. I want to crawl under the table. He's just got ants in his pants. I'll see you girls tomorrow. And of course, I stop playing cards with my friends, and I go. But inside my own head, I feel anger and, God forgive me, maybe even hatred. But I take a deep breath, and I move on. Let him be well. For our 50th wedding anniversary, our children make for us a big party with all our friends and family, and all 10 grandchildren put on a show with dancing and singing. I can still remember a little of the song. Joe's getting married in the morning. Ding dong, the bells are going to chime. She is a beauty, or he's such a cutie. Papa is a lucky guy. Or something like that. That was one of the best days in my whole life. Today, I am visiting Joe in the Jewish home for the aged. I had no choice. I could no longer take care of him. He's not in his room, so I go in the hall and I see him walking hand in hand with a little old woman. And I hate to admit this, but I feel jealous. I can't remember a time when he held my hand and walked with me. I don't even know if he knows who I am anymore. But Joe has found some peace here. Let him be well. In 1990, my granddaughter, Vicki, gives birth to a little girl she names Molly. Named, of course, for my sister Molly, who brought Rose and me to this country 70 years before. She says it's her way of keeping the memory alive. Such a gift. Joe died in the nursing home. And with all the disappointments, all the hard times I had with him, still a part of me died too. Often I wonder what would have happened if Molly hadn't brought Rose and me to this country. I certainly would never have met my Joseph, got married for the good, for the bad, had our 3 beautiful children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. I suppose I would never know for sure, but this I do know. It was beschert, all of it.
Yeah.